Hi, my name is Rachel Wilcutz, and I am a 2011 RGV Corps member. I'm working as an AP Biology teacher at my placement school in Brownsville, Texas. I first worked for the I Know I Can program in the summer of 2013. After that summer, I spent a year working abroad in Bangladesh at a women's university. Because of my experiences at the I Know I Can program, when I went abroad to the Women's University in Bangladesh, I connected very quickly with a group of young Palestinian students who were there at the university. I was assigned to work really closely with a small group of 5 students, 3 from Gaza and 2 from Syria. They were all first-year students, and one reason I was assigned to work with them was because they had arrived really late in the school year. The Syrian students had been late for obvious reasons, and the Gazan students had arrived about 2 months late to school because they had had trouble getting out of Gaza. In fact, they had almost lost their scholarships because they were so late getting out. So because of this, they were behind, and I was assigned to work with them. We met regularly. I got to know them really well. And yeah, developed some pretty close relationships with them. So toward the end of the year, they were about 19 years old. It was their first year being away from home. They were all getting really excited, looking forward to going home and visiting their families over the summer. They really wanted to go home. However, 2 of them decided not to go back to Gaza because they were worried about getting stuck there. They'd almost lost their scholarships the first time that happened, and they didn't want to take the risk of having it happen again, even though they really wanted to go see their families. The third student did decide to go back to Gaza, and so she was there this past summer when all of the violence was going on. I was also in the West Bank the past summer working at the I Know I Can program. Um, so while all the violence was going on, I was in semi-regular communication with her and with the other students who were still in Bangladesh, and with another young Palestinian woman that I'd met at the university who was back home in Hebron. And we were really worried about her. Not just her, but the other 2 students who were still in Bangladesh had family in Gaza, and so they were understandably very worried about them. Rather than me telling you the way I experienced it, I'd like to actually read you a few quotes that my students wrote over the summer. Sometimes they were talking to me. They would send me regular Facebook messages when they had electricity. The student in Gaza often did not have electricity. So I'd like to read you a few of their quotes so you can hear their voices rather than mine. Yesterday, 2 of my cousins were killed. I'm getting more worried now that I can't contact my family because of the electricity problem. That was from one of the students who was in Bangladesh over the summer. My uncle was shot dead. I am so depressed right now. I don't know what to say or how to feel anymore. We Palestinians are just numbers to other people. What do we have to do to convince them that we are human? My family's home was bombed. They are fine, kind of. I feel so powerless. Why does the world ignore Israeli crimes against Palestinians? Palestinians are not terrorists. My grandmother lost her home. This next one is about the student who was in Gaza. We often didn't hear from her, so we usually were getting secondhand information there was one student who was able to call her on the phone sometimes, so we would get secondhand information from her. So this student's name in Gaza was Saba, and this next quote is referring to her. Saba's mother separated the family so that if an attack happens, not everyone in the family will die. All we want is to live normally in our lands like anyone in the world. I wish one day we can live in peace. As I followed the conflict over the summer and since then as well, one of many things that has always stood out to me is so many people talk about this conflict from all over the world. The West, Israel, politicians here, there, everywhere. Everyone seems to have an opinion. But the voices that always seem to be missing from the conversation are the voices of students like these. You never hear their perspective. You never hear what they're saying, what they're experiencing. And I wanted to take this opportunity to share those voices with you, just briefly, just for a couple minutes, because they are important and they need to be listened to.